Hello, family. Welcome back to Smart Hustle. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. Let me ask you something right out of the gate. What if I told you there's an invisible tax you pay every single day, but you are never going to see it printed on a receipt or an official bill? Seriously, why does it feel like the less money you have, the more expensive life becomes? It's a heavy question, but it's one we absolutely need to unpack today.
I mean, it sounds like a total paradox, doesn't it? What if being broke is actually more expensive than being rich? Stay with me on this one, because today we're breaking down the hidden tax on poor people. We are going to explore exactly why this happens, how it drains your resources, and most importantly, how to recognize it so you can finally break the cycle.
All right, part one, the hidden tax revealed. Let's dive right in and expose what this actually is. Now, what's really wild is that this hidden tax isn't some official government policy. You won't see it clearly outlined on paper anywhere. But man, you absolutely feel it. It shows up in everyday life in ways most people completely miss. Picture invisible arrows, each one labeled extra cost, just constantly hitting you from all sides. Basically, it is the extra cost you take on simply because you lack the upfront cash to make a smarter, more economical choice in the present moment. Which brings us to our next section, paying more for less. This is the first major trap. Here's exactly how this trap plays out. When you're strapped for cash, you often end up paying way more because you have to buy cheaper products that just don't last. Think about it. A cheap pair of work boots might save you some money today, but they completely fall apart in 3 months, so you replace them. And then you replace them again. Over time, you spend significantly more than if you just had the cash to buy one really good quality pair up front. We see this at the grocery store all the time too. Buying a single roll of paper towels might cost you $2, but a bulk pack of 12 drops that unit cost to just 85 cents a roll. If you don't have that initial cash to buy the bulk pack, you are stuck paying a crazy 135% markup week after week.
And that leads us directly into section 3, the cost of urgency. This is a massive domino effect. When you don't have savings, literally every single bump in the road becomes a full-blown emergency. And you know as well as I do, emergencies are ridiculously expensive. Why? Because you just don't have the luxury of time to shop around for better options. A flat tire isn't just a minor inconvenience. It means you might miss a shift at work, so to fix it right this second, maybe you're forced into taking out a high-interest payday loan. Or maybe your checking account dips slightly below zero, and instead of a simple warning, boom, you are immediately slammed with a devastating $35 overdraft fee. If you miss a bill by one day because you're waiting for that paycheck to clear, you get slapped with late fees. These rushed, incredibly expensive outcomes happen specifically because you don't have that financial buffer. Let's transition to the next layer of this issue, section 4, the time and access trap. You see, having less money actively restricts your access to the world. We call this the access penalty. When cash is tight, you face closed doors everywhere you turn. You have fewer options for safe housing, fewer opportunities for career advancement, and just way fewer chances to improve your situation. Without the right zip code or a solid credit score or the ability to drop a hefty security deposit, the best and most affordable options are totally gated off from you. And unfortunately, that just keeps the whole cycle of poverty spinning.
And listen, let's not forget the massive toll this takes on your clock. When your money is limited, you spend exponentially more time just trying to solve basic problems. You spend hours taking 3 different buses because you can't afford a reliable car. You spend your weekends hunting down the absolute cheapest options, rigging up DIY fixes for broken household stuff, or standing in line for hours just to dispute unfair fees. And we really need to remember that your time has a massive cost too. You are literally paying for poverty with the most precious non-renewable resource you have, which is your time.
All right, section 5, the real financial impact. Let's start bringing all these individual traps together.
When we zoom out and combine all of this, the cheaper placements that break, the late fees, the insane overdraft charges, the predatory high-interest loans, and the massive loss of your personal time, you start to see a really undeniable pattern. Less money doesn't just mean less comfort. It almost always means a significantly higher long-term cost. And that, right there, is the true hidden tax. Okay, section 6, escaping the hidden tax. I am absolutely not going to just leave you with the problem. How do we actually break out of this? Well, it takes some very specific, actionable steps. First up, you have to start building a small emergency fund, and you do it step by step. Step 1 is simply opening a completely separate, totally free savings account. Step 2, set up an automatic transfer of just $10 a week on payday. I know it sounds small, but over time that creates a real buffer against those disastrous $35 overdraft fees we talked about. Second, adopt small budget habits to break the cycle right now. For example, if you know a bill is going to be late, call the provider ahead of time. Honestly, you'd be shocked by how often you can negotiate a payment plan to completely avoid late penalties. You just have to be proactive. Getting a grip on this completely changes your mindset. Because as this empowering smart hustle rule tells us, the goal is not just to spend less, it's to position yourself so you stop paying this hidden tax. That is the secret. It is all about shifting from just surviving day to day to strategically positioning yourself for tomorrow. But look, even when you manage to avoid these immediate traps, there are still foundational money rules out there that nobody talks about. So in our next explainer, we're going to build a bridge right to that topic and completely break down the money rules that nobody ever bothered to explain to you in school. Now, as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with a question. Have you ever personally felt like being broke is more expensive? I would absolutely love to hear about the hidden taxes you've encountered in your own life, so drop your experiences down in the comments for us. And if you want to keep uncovering the hidden rules of money and learning how to actually beat them, make sure you subscribe to Smart Hustle, because the biggest financial lessons in life are almost always the ones nobody ever explicitly explains. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.